Hello, everyone! And the first part of episode 79 has finally arrived to us just a week later, as it was promised to come out, which is still not a bad thing at all. Given that it lasts for 7 minutes, it's still crazy to me how Boom managed to lock in and deliver something that big and epic to us just 1 month after his previous episode release, which lasted for 14 minutes. So, yeah, we're eating good today, guys. But the Alliance is not supposed to be so happy as we are, though, because this part of the episode actually contains some really sad things in it. The infected Titan TV man comes back as I expected, and now his goal is to destroy the Alliance's base completely. But at what cost? And even though before that the Alliance found out some amazing stuff to upgrade themselves and allow Skibidi toilets and agents communicate freely, it all is doomed to come to an absolute end. Will Titan TV man destroy absolutely everyone at the base? Or there is an actual change for the Alliance to still win? Now get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end, where I'll tell you about all the details that Boom hid in the first part of episode 79 for us, and let's go. And be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done this already. And now let's move on to the actual episode analysis. Okay, and the episode starts with the completely new POV, who is now Speakerman and not Cameraman as usual. And this is actually a pretty important decision given the plot of this episode, and you'll understand why Boom chose Speakerman exactly by the end of this video. And I think that this is also the first time in Skibidi toilet history where we witness the events from the Speakerman's perspective. Strangely enough, we even saw the Skibidi toilet's POV already, which happened just 1 episode prior to this one, and the Elite TV Man's POV too in episode 74. So now the Speakerman's turn finally happened, and it's pretty cool to see. All these new non-cameraman POVs became possible after the Alliance developed the special type of cameras that can be adjusted to the clothes of any kind of agent, and then everything could be observed via bigger screens from these cameras. So now literally everyone can become a POV for the new episode, and who knows, maybe we'll even see either Titan Speakerman or G-Man as our next main protagonists. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So as the Speakerman gets his camera attached to the clothes by an engineer cameraman, we can hear the mixed group exchanging the following information nearby. We figured that our languages work similarly. Through chants, they send subtle frequencies, speech only they could understand, until now. As the POV turns around, we realize that those words have been said by a fellow Dark Speakerman in the black suit. No, not our dear Dark Speakerman who passed away in the same episode as Plungerman, but the new guy who also has some funny black hat put on his speakers too. And by the way, we wouldn't be able to hear those words without the subtitles of the episode, because that's how the Speakerman's speech sounds like, and we are able to hear it just now when another Speakerman became the POV of the episode. All of this has been said to another engineer cameraman, and the Speakerman was referring to the Skibidi toilet language exactly. And by the way, speaking of Skibidi, there is a Wolverine Skibidi toilet sitting right next to these two, who will become an object for their linguistic experiment. So basically, the Alliance found out the way of share communication involving not only TV men, speakermen, and cameramen, but the Skibidi toilets as well. So now everyone will finally be able to understand each other, which will greatly help them in fighting the Astro toilets together. And by the way, funnily enough, but Astro's speech will also become perfectly understandable in this episode, so dare I say that the language barrier is not an issue anymore. Okay, so once the engineer cameraman puts this new device on, he becomes capable of understanding our POV speakerman, and to be honest, I got a bit confused by this scene because, weren't cameramen able to understand speakermen since forever as they worked together? Because otherwise, how could they manage to participate in mixed battle operations and all that? Okay, but whatever. And then the black Speakerman continues. This prototype allows you to understand both our and Skibidi language. And then he asks the Wolverine Skibidi to demonstrate it. So the Skibidi jokingly says something really cute as expected. I want to dissect you and see what's inside. While saying this with the biggest smile on his face too. What a nice guy. Well, but at least it proves that this new device works properly indeed. Okay. And mid this experiment, the group gets approached by the detective cameraman, who seems very interesting in this linguistic tool. So he takes off this device off the engineer cameraman's shoulder very inconsiderately and walks away, refusing to elaborate. On the other hand, though, it seems more than appropriate for him to take this device with him. given that his current investigation is probably one of the most important subplots in the latest Skibidi Toilet episodes. He intends to find out the truth about the secret agent, and after he already talked the hell out of Lucky Cameraman, his main witness, now it's time to ask the Skibidi toilets as well. Especially the Skibidi mutants that used to work in the military squad hired for the Alpha Hills protection, as we could see in episode 77. So that's what he will do next when we'll see him on screen, I believe. And for now, we focus on what happens in the base only. Okay? And before I'll continue, let's quickly mention a couple of smaller details I already caught during this monologue scene. So first of all, we're on the same cameramen's base that was shown in the teasers, but it still involves speakermen, TV men, and even Skibidi agents all over it. And later we will see that this base became a temporary center for gathering all the resources from the battlefield, because all the other bases were already hunted down by Astro fleet and destroyed with the help of Titan TV Man on their side. That's why all the monitor screens belonging to TV Men are turned off now, as we can see, so that he wouldn't be able to detect any more bases. So this base is one of the many few Alliance's bases that still stands. Well, not for long. Second of all, it's obvious that this base became not only the current development and upgrade receiving center for cameramen, but also hospital, given how many injured and heartbroken agents can be seen here, who were probably teleported here by TV men from the battlefield. And of course, the statue of Plungerman. Yes, it was indeed erected here in this base as a symbol of bravery for all the survived cameramen, which is really bittersweet. And something tells me that Plunger Camera Woman was probably the one who commanded to put this statue in here, given her current obsession with everything connected to her past lover. And by the way, in the scene where the detective was approaching our POV, we can also see this highly suspicious cameraman guard who is slowly turning his head while observing everything and everyone on this base. Apparently the cameramen were expecting the Astro storm for a really long time at this point, so they were monitoring everything in order to not get caught off guard. And this detail will also help me prove something really important to you later in this video, so keep it in mind for now. Okay, and after the detective left, we can hear the sound of teleportation. And then the furious polycephaly TV man started yelling, "Are you serious? I've been doing nothing but teleporting your trash for hours, and you still have more? It's a miracle they still didn't find us." Well, can we safely say now that the bro simply cursed his allies at this moment? Because right after his rant, the base got exposed by the Astro toilets? Although once again, I actually believe that the Alliance might have been expecting this raid for a really long time, so it shouldn't be a surprise for them at all. And here are a few pretty interesting details surrounding Polycephaly figure as well. First of all, this is the infamous chair, aka the alternative shape-shifting form of Windows XP Girl, who has been watching the Alliance for quite a while, and it's possible that she was aware of the upcoming raid as well. But I already analyzed the hell out of this detail from Boom's leak in one of my previous videos. So let's continue not to repeat the same stuff over and over again. Second of all, it's funny how literally no one is bothered by what Polycephaly is yelling. Everyone is busy with transporting the Astro weapon and armor parts or checking in lists of equipment. And you know what it makes me think, y'all? Everything has basically been staged. Maybe even the words that the big TV man is yelling were literally rehearsed by him as a signal to action. Which action, you ask me? Well, what if I'll tell you that the Alliance was perfectly aware of where and when Astro toilets would plan on striking them next, and they prepared a plan of meeting them on their own territory on their own terms. But obviously Astro toilets shouldn't know that, so the Alliance staged this whole scene as if it was an accident that this base has been found. But come on, does Boom really expect me to believe that after all the battle losses and stuff, the Alliance would be so dumb to spoil the current cameramen's location by making Polycephaly teleport so many containers in here? Nah, guys, that really sounds like cap to me. So instead, I think that the Alliance has simply prepared a whole trap for Astro Duchess and her friends. And I'll tell you more of that later in this video. For now, just keep in mind that Windows XP Woman's appearance here is also no coincidence, as she probably has her own battles for the upcoming huge battle as well. So, right after Polycephaly's signaling words, the Astro Toilet shows up on the base, and he gets pulled by the large guarding mechanism changing the Astro's gravity, apparently. and then fried by one of Cameraman's cannons just immediately. Once again, doesn't it show that the Alliance was waiting for his appearance all along? So once the Astro troop falls to the ground on the spot that was graciously freed for him by TV woman, he rattles, "It's too late. They know where you are. You will perish from the hands of your own." Oh, come on, bro. Really? You really surprised us all here, no cap. Well, anyway, while he couldn't stop yapping, TV woman already prepared her sick blades to finally cut this never-ending flow of words, and that's where we see something truly insane. As she's still standing in the battle stance, the special charging mechanism behind her opens up, and no other than upgraded simp cameraman comes out of it slowly. What the helly? He looks incredible. Not only did he finally get the robotic legs in exchange of his own that he lost back in episode 57, but he was also granted with the best Astro-inspired upgrade so far, I think, and it's the rotating ring of power behind his back. The similar one that Astro Hunter or Astro Impactor possess. And this ring basically allows its wearer to operate with an absolute wave of energy that can damage your opponents in second. But there is one downside for that too. Apparently, this ring should be charged non-stop as if it was produced by the Apple company or something like that. Maybe within some time, the Alliance will figure out how to use such rings without spending so much energy on them. But for now, we have what we have. Well, anyway, Simp Cameraman brutally fries the Astro Troop in a few seconds, and then slowly comes back to his charging chamber just as unbothered as he came out of it. And he just pushes TV woman aside without paying any sort of attention to her, which apparently even hurt her a bit. Ha! So Simp is simping no longer, it seems. And we cheered, my friends, so I believe that we better change a name for him now. So what about Sigma Cameraman or something like this? What do you guys think? And by the way, this whole scene was happening under the observance of the Mecha Scientist Cameraman 2, who was the one who helped Sigma Cameraman to get all these upgrades. And that was actually something I suggested a long time ago when I saw the injured simp for the first time in episode 74. Mecha was the perfect dude to help him back on track, given how he himself lost his legs in the earlier episodes, and then managed to upgrade himself into the cyborg form. And something similar is happening to Sigma Cameraman's transformation too. Okay, and right after that scene, the alarm finally goes off, as the entire base gets attacked by the Astro Raid led by the Duchess, and we all already saw that coming based on the leaks that Boom was sending to us. Elite TV man, who got this nice purple scarf for his attire, by the way, slowly raises his fist and says, "We needed more time." After that, the interior door unlocks, and we can see the Skibidi mutant walking into the base with his whole body being literally on fire. And by the way, this is the same guy who entered the base back in Season 25 and officially suggested a union and negotiating between Skibidi Toilets and the Alliance, even though G-Man acted in a collaboration with them a long time ago already. But it was done a secret, while this Skibidi mutant announced the peace openly for everyone. And it's actually hilarious, but apparently this negotiator, Chad, tried to have a peaceful talk with Astro Toilets too, but oh well, based on his appearance here, he failed spectacularly. And the brother seems pretty mad as he's saying, "Looks like they don't want to settle. They ruined my fit. Screw peace, kill them all." Preach, bro. The POV speaker man rushes outside to see what is happening. And oh boy, it's already hot as hell in there around the base. A whole bunch of cameramen and their machines are shooting Astro Toilets invading the sky. But unfortunately, it seems like the ordinary bullets are not enough to destroy them all. Camera Strider also can be seen in action, and now it mainly flies in the air instead of being fixed to the ground, which is really cool. Then we see Jim Bro Mutant crushing the hell out of some poor Astro troop, and Bro looks really eager to take down as much Astros as possible. But even though I respect his bravery, it's still important to keep in mind that the members of the Alpha Hills military squad must stay alive and unscathed no matter what, as their presence is really important for the continuation of the detective's plot arc. So I hope that Jim Bro and other members of his squad won't go too ahead of themselves and will be all right in the end. He then notices how other agents shoot down another Astro troop, laughs, and tells them nice. Meanwhile, we see how the fried body of the Astro was cooked to the bone, as its head got turned into a literal skull now. And then we see who turned him to a state like this, which is our long-awaited Skibidi Toilet Mafia. who also says what doesn't kill you gives you aura. And oh man, I couldn't agree with him more. His new design literally makes him look like the plague toilet from the Verlance's Skibidi Wars multiverse. And it also seems like his acid cannons became his new main weapon now. Which is really interesting given how the acid was something that almost destroyed him back in episode 67. So he really overcame his trauma and turned it into his weapon now, which is the sickest thing I've ever seen. And apparently his face is still disfigured after that incident. And that's why he wears this aura-inducing gas mask. And after that we see Skibidi Michael Jackson, who is also having some pretty good time beheading the regular Astro troops left and right. As the small bro lands, he gets petted on his head by the Skibidi Toilet Mafia, who also got turned into a full-fledged mutant with arms and legs, by the way. And then he kindly says, "Well done, King," which gets followed up by the Gym Bros. "Yeah, a good one, Mike." There you go, guys. Even if you are the shortest in your friend's crowd, you still can be the king. Okay. And that's where the positive vibes are about to get stopped completely for now. Because then we hear the eerie trumpets of dominance indicating of the most powerful and dangerous Astro toilets showing up. But before the Duchess's appearance, Gym Bro Mutant grins ominously and tells a cameraman engineer below, "We will buy you some time," meaning that he'll provide the helpless agents an opportunity to flee this scene and cover up safely in their base. After that, the Astro Interceptors firstly appear, as eerie as always, and then Astro Duchess herself finally shows up. She immediately gets attacked by all the defensive systems on the base, but of course she has the massive shield to back her up and protect her from all sorts of missiles. Even the huge rocket gets reflected by the Duchess as if it's nothing. And that speaks some volumes about the power of her defensive system. It really seems to me as if her protection layers were additionally added on her by someone even more powerful than she. Maybe it was Astro Duke? More than possible, in my opinion. After this attack, she pulls away her shield and slowly sits right on top of Robert, the poor cameraman that tried to hold against her butt. But he was way too overconfident about his powers and just got crushed instead. Robert. He probably saw something truly majestic in the last moments of his existence. Okay, and after that, Astro Duchess says, "Fools! You have no idea who's coming." Oh well, speak for yourself, girlie. Because me and my audience knew who was coming a very long time again. And once again, I have a feeling that the Alliance was also aware of everything and just baited this fool of a woman to this place. And after that, the long-awaited Titan TV man, aka Watchman of Doom, appears as well, and before he even steps out of his new evil teleportation mist, he slowly utters, "Forgive me, I have become your doom." And once he shows up, we can see something pretty interesting. On the one hand, it seems like Titan TV Man got several upgrades from Astro Toilet's base, and now he's possessing an even deadlier technology than before. But on the other hand, he looks, I don't know, choppy as hell. Despite his frightening appearance, it really looks as if his injured body was taken straight from the episode 78 battlefield, modified here and there in a hurry and then put back in action again. It really is obvious to me that Astro Toilets do not care about poor Titan TV Man at all, and he is just a battle meat for them and a tool to hurt and intimidate the Alliance. Besides, I also noticed something really strange in place of his main TV screen. Is it some kind of new Astro device placed in there? Or maybe his screen changed its color and structure due to the infection controlling Titan TV Man's body. I'm not sure what it is for now, so I guess I'll make a separate video later on my channel where I'll speak about Titan TV Man and his future fate with more details. Anyway, so Titan TV Man gets attacked in the same manner as Astro Duchess was, but instead of using a massive shield like her, the Titan just absorbs all the missiles with his infected core. So basically, the more you shoot this Titan, the more infused with power from your shots he gets, which is smart and terrifying at the same time. While still keeping absorbing the energy from the cameraman's cannons, Titan TV Man also releases a huge missile from his enormous cannon attached to his left hand. And the impact of it is so strong that the POV's camera starts glitching like crazy, while almost all of members of the G-Squad are being sent flying. Once the POV speakerman comes to his senses, it turns out that the cameraman's base is already in shambles. Well, at least some front external part of it. Titan TV Man moved much closer than he initially was, but thankfully he didn't notice the POV yet, so we're safe for now. Literally all the powers of the Alliance were thrown at Titan TV Man in specifics, including camera striders, separate flying gravitation cannons, huge defensive machine guns, and much more. All of them keep sinking Watchmen of Doom in the sea of bullets. But just as I told it earlier, nothing makes any effect on him, and instead of that, it gives him even more of his own power. Astro Toilet's really cooked with his upgrades, because Titan TV Man was actually turned into a destruction machine for his former comrades. So what chance the Alliance can even get to defeat him? And well, based on the Astro Duchess's reaction, who is clearly enjoying what she's seeing, I think that Astro Faction is more than confident in the infected Titan TV Man's might. They didn't even send in any more elite Astro troops aside from him alone, well, at least just for now. And that tells us something. After some time, while absorbing all the energy thrown at him, Titan TV Man releases a mind-blowingly powerful wave of energy that literally deletes all of his unlucky opponents from existence. Only one cannon set somehow stays standing, but that wasn't for long. Multiple Striders try to attack the Titan mid-air, but it has just as much success as their previous attempts, meaning 0. Watchman of Doom unpacks his new rocket set and crashes all of them in a literal second. And well, what can I say here? It definitely doesn't look good for the Alliance at all. The cameramen's base is actually lying in ruins right now. But you know what is really interesting about it? It seems like Titan TV Man is not happy about what he has done at all, which means one crazy thing. His body is indeed controlled by Astro Toilets, but not his actual mind. Either it was made this way on purpose in order to inflict even more pain both on the Titan himself and the Alliance, or all the new Astro troops taken from different conquered planets and universes are getting turned in such a way. First, they are being controlled and forced to destroy their former friends and comrades with no opportunity to stop it, which surely makes them hella depressed and devastated. And the longer those poor beings are put in such a horrible position, the colder and deadlier their heart becomes. And in the end of this awful transformation, they became an actual Astro Toilet, ruthless, emotionless, and ready to do anything by the command of their leaders. And if this is the fate that Astro Toilet's prepared for our Titan TV Man, that I'd say that it would be actually better for him to just die in battle rather than survive, but turn out into such a creation after some time. But thankfully, there actually is some hope for him, and soon I will explain you everything. Okay, and after that we see the Skibidi scientist's puppet operated by the Kleiner, and yeah, well, surely he has 0 chances against Titan TV Man as well, so I don't even know what Kleiner is doing here, honestly. Especially given that he is a scientist, and one of the most important ones for the Alliance as well, given that he closely worked under the late Skibidi scientist's projects. So surely there must have been a really valid reason for him to appear on the battlefield. And well, I have only one possible explanation for this. He probably wanted to test the real limits of Titan TV Man's powers, and based on the Kleiner's reactions, his power turned out to be almost limitless. And that's why he said, "Fascinating," after the Titan broke his puppet in half with his new giant Astro sword. After this test, Skibidi Kleiner quickly retaliates, and I hope that the explosion didn't really touch him. After that, Titan TV Man freezes in an actual desperation, and man, I really felt sorry for the guy in this moment. Astro Duchess coldly says to him, "Choke your grief. Cosmos hears no cries. Only power speaks." Yeah, well, this girl really looks brainwashed as hell, so there is just no way back to humanity for her at this point. Something tells me that she also used to be a normal living being, but then Astro Toilets took her and tortured her in the same manner as Titan TV Man. And that could have explained her painful facial expressions here and there back in episode 76. Probably there is some human part hidden deep into her soul, but unfortunately as a whole, her soul has already been rotten, so she is really doomed, no pun intended. After saying that phrase, he giggles almost hysterically. And then one of the darkest scenes in the history of Skibidi Toilet series occurs in front of our very eyes. As the POV speakerman turns around, he realizes that more and more cameramen are coming their way to defend the rest of their base. And he understands that it's actually something that both Astro Duchess and Titan TV Man were waiting for all this time. Because in case you forgot, cameramen have literal cameras on their heads, While TV screens, if restructured in their core, have the power of make cameraman self-destruct, and it is exactly what we saw happening back in the second part of episode 70. So basically what's coming for cameraman agents is the massive self-destruction, and the POV speakerman realizes this and rushes towards them in horror while screaming, "No! You have to leave! Please!" Even plunger camerawoman shows up, dedicated as ever, and of course everyone, her included, ignores POV speakerman's warnings. But why? Are they really so dedicated to face their own death? I really don't think that the Alliance has no idea about Titan TV Man's special powers sent via his screens. At the very least, the basic protective sunglasses or special lenses might save everyone from the TV screen's influence. And by the way, speaking of those, did you notice how Astro Duchess already put one of those on her face? So basically, cameramen only have to do the same thing, and they'll be safe. Or something else is possible either. So the first part of episode 79 ends on a truly hopeless note, where 4 giant TV screens start projecting the self-destructing power onto ISOTOILET's opponents, which disables POV speakerman's portable camera but doesn't affect him, because he has speakers instead of a camera in his head. So at least he will surely stay all right after this attack. But what about the rest? I have a very strong feeling that even though the ending of this part of the episode implies everyone will self-destruct like dumb puppets, it may be just a bait for us to get emotionally involved. But I think that in the beginning of the second part of the episode, this whole attack will get interrupted by a sudden appearance of somebody powerful. Who exactly? Well, I would obviously bet it could be the upgraded Titan speakerman in the first place, but the appearance of G-Man is also possible. Or after all, why not freaking both? Titan speakerman will do the most difficult work about the restraining of Titan TV Man, while Jimmy will be the one who will actually try to remove the parasite off Titan TV Man's body, although it's probably going to be hard as hell. And that's why I told you in the beginning of my analysis that the entire Alliance might have been expecting this type of attack this whole time. But in reality, it would be the Alliance truly baiting ISOTOILETs to unpack Titan TV Man and bring them to the battle again, so that the Alliance would have an opportunity to get their Titan back on their side. Honestly, I have even more ideas dedicated to the possible plot twist of the second part in my head, but I think that I will make a separate theory video about this, because otherwise this analysis would turn out way too long. So stay tuned, and for now, that is all for today. Write in the comments what you personally think about this episode, and be sure to also subscribe to my channel not to miss my new videos to keep yourselves updated while you're waiting for the second part of episode 79 to get released. And that was me, ISOTOILET. See ya!